Hello class, in Chapter 8 you reviewed the range of deviant behaviors by law enforcement officers. While we know the vast majority of police officers are honest and strive to be ethical in all they do, it is a sad fact that examples of corruption, graft, and misconduct are not difficult to find in today's society. The most common areas are corruption and graft, of which the following are examples: accepting gratuities, on-duty use of drug and alcohol, graft, sexual misconduct, and criminal behavior, as well as forced misconduct, whether it's physical, vocal, or emotional, and of course deadly misconduct or deadly force. Although the formal code of ethical conduct prohibits accepting gratuities, unfortunately some officers believe there is nothing wrong with accepting freebies such as meals. Many others believe, however, taking gratuities erodes the public confidence while undermining the image of professionalism. Regarding the on-duty use of drugs and alcohol, one study found that nearly 20% of officers in one major city in the United States used marijuana and other drugs while on duty. I ask you to ask yourself, do you really want the person you call on for life-saving help to arrive stoned? I know I certainly don't. Some officers sadly use their status and position of power to engage in sexual misconduct, thus bringing about damaging publicity and more public distrust to a very noble profession. While the instances of criminality by a few transgressors is rare, and certainly goes beyond professional ethics, such cases again bring about public notoriety and thus are extremely costly to the image of policing. To dishonor the badge in this way completely dishonors it for all who wear it with honor and courage. While there are types of deviance that are purely self-interest motivated, there is also deviance that stems out of a noble corruption. Noble cause corruption will be discussed in greater detail in Chapter 9 and is, in my opinion, the most dangerous of all forms of corruption. Another form of deviance is the use of excessive force. An important factor that seems to be associated with excessive force is a challenge to police authority, or as some refer to it as contempt of cop. Race also seems to be a factor, and nothing can be more devastating and divisive in a community than a police shooting that appears to be unjustified. It is also noted that police scandals have occurred in all countries around the world, and also that there are apparent differences in the relative levels of corruption among police in these countries. In closing, it can be said that the reasons for most law enforcement deviance can be characterized and categorized into three areas. First, individual explanations, where an officer has an individual inclination for misconduct. Organizational explanations, where management, that is supervisors, have low visibility, little or no accountability, and where there is tacit acceptance of misconduct in general by the department's culture. And lastly, societal explanations, where systemic deviance is based on the relationship between the police and the public's willingness to accept certain types of misconduct as a trade-off for protection from criminal element. Now, looking ahead to this week, you'll be introduced to the concept of noble cause corruption, the ethical issues involved in investigations and interrogations, distinctions between physical and mental coercion, and the arguments against and for whistleblowing versus loyalty to coworkers. What is an ethical leader? And lastly, the methods that can help reduce corruption among police officers. Please now begin Week 10 assignments.